In this video series, Sebastian Winter and Mark van Aalst will show you all the steps needed to implement a new website using SXA. We will be using an open source HTML template that represents a fictional company. In the upcoming videos, we will describe all of our steps and share best practices. We hope that you'll find these videos useful and that they will help you learn building sites with SXA.
Welcome to a new series called SXA Tutorials, and this is our episode 1. So we got actually a new project that we have to implement, and I'm going to tell Mark about it to see how we can implement it as good as possible, and of course using SXA. So Mark, a company called me, and they are some kind of international company with local entities across the globe, and they need multiple websites with local languages, of course, for the local markets, and also the content authors and marketers who will work locally to manage their content, and also they have a central marketing unit to provide some, let's say, global campaign content so that the local websites can use that or probably have to use it. And also, well, not a surprise, but a lot of their clients are using mobile devices. So they set an average across all sites. They expect to have an average usage of 60%. So the sites definitely need to be responsive. And yeah, as usual, they have a tough timeline, tough budget, and need to bring their websites live quite soon. Luckily, they provided us already some page designs. These are just a few examples. I went through it, and most of them are just renderings, but they have a block as a feature, which seems to be based on search and using filters. So let's have a look into that one. And there's a contact form. There's a map used on the contact us page, and they also have newsletter subscription. So this is what I saw maybe most challenging to be done.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice. Well, it looks to me like this is like the ideal candidate for an SXA website, right? SXA offers you out-of-the-box multi-site support, so you can create multiple sites. That's definitely something we want to leverage during development, but also afterwards. Well, multilingual, definitely with these like global brands, they want to support their regions in their own languages. And from the looks of it, from the looks of the page designs, there are a lot of out-of-the-box things in SXA that we can leverage. There's a lot of components that we can either use one-on-one or create our different variations of that.
Yeah, which I thought, I mean, not visible on the page design, but probably they want to have meta tagging. I mean, who does not want that?
Yeah.
So SEO improvements, but also we saw search. Probably they need error pages like 404. I saw navigation, obviously, responsiveness with some out-of-the-box grids, sitemap and robots. So all those standard stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and things like the dictionary for multilingual, right? That's all built in. You can have your own dictionary per site, or and share it even. And on sharing, I think, well, having a brand with a global presence, multiple languages, then that's definitely something authors want to leverage. That they want to be able to share, well, create their content once and then just reuse it across multiple websites, make different language variations from it. That's, yeah, and being it quite a large implementation, you definitely want to start content editing as soon as possible, and if possible, even during your development phase, you can use that real life content just to, well, test your website, essentially reducing the, well, risks of issues later on.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of that slide here. That's quite an old one, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually I think a process of implementing sites is quite linear. Maybe not really as linear as mentioned here, but you have the user experience designers who think of how the user experience would be for the site. Then once they are done, the visual designers start creating a proper UI. Then the front-end developers start to make the markup, and afterwards the back-end developers start implementing that into the content management system. So at the very end, the content entry can start. So this is usually taking up quite some time as different people are involved, and not taking 100% the slide that we usually see, as we got already the UI design ready. But even from here, I think we can achieve having the content entry start very early, before we have done all the backend development and all the front-end development.
Yeah, and even back and the front end can well work alongside right now, right? With normal projects, you typically have your front end structure already there before you start doing stuff with the back end, and now you can just do that simultaneously, even just a bit before the whole content entry phase. But yeah.
Yes. So if we take a look, I think we need to structure things now a bit to get things going and actually start with the implementation. I've taken a look at the best practice guide of SXA, and actually with 9.3 they have introduced some kind of project structure. If we take a look at that, there are 4 phases: define, design, analyze, and implement. We want to go to implement, I guess. But if we take a look, so the define phase has been covered by the client already. So probably they have defined their goals and know how to measure the stuff to assure that they reach their goals. And also, I think, well, the design has been done. So UX and UI designers have worked on the UI designs of the pages. Probably they didn't know about SXA components, but yeah, let's just see what we can do with that.
Yeah, we can work with that.
Yeah. So so I think what we need to do as of the plan here, and as it makes sense also from my perspective, let's do some gap analysis to see what needs to be custom development and what we can do by out-of-the-box components. And then we could also differentiate where we can utilize partial designs and page designs, how they map to their UIs. And of course, as we want the content authors to work as early as possible, let's prioritize the features smartly so that they can start working and they can work as much in parallel as possible. So we could also define some minimum viable product from where we can hand over to them so that they can actually start working.
Yeah, and I think this whole analyze phase is probably the most important phase during your, or even before your development. And I think it's also great advice, just try not to stick to that toolbox, because the toolbox gives you like base functionality, but you can always use that functionality and extend it in your own ways, and not necessarily building all of your components from scratch, but just have like 80%, use 80% of that one component and build the other percentage needed for your specific requirements, right? But I think that's definitely something we'll be seeing later on as well.
Yeah, I mean, even in terms of terminology, so how to call a certain component, I mean, we could use promo component for probably nearly everything in that example here, but or in this project here, but not all the authors call each component a promo component. So they might want to call it text teaser or whatever teaser because they're used to using these terminologies, and I think we should give them that so that they're not confused, so that we keep training effort low and they are just work in an environment that they know, basically, or terms that they know. So even there, it could make sense to just create a new component just for the sake of having a different name on it, even though it doesn't, like business functionality wise, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, fully agree with that. It should work intuitive, not against you, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be the motto shouldn't be promo all the things or whatsoever.
Yeah. So then last phase would be then to implement all the stuff based on the priority that we set. So I think we are good to go to actually analyze the requirements.
Cool.